All right.
Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hello and welcome to our Career Paths webinar series. We are joined by a big number of us at Flight Crowd, but also a number of exciting speakers. But as I'm speaking, I'm already thinking, you know what, I'm taking over somebody else's time. You know what, I'm going to pass you over to my colleague, Rogdan, first, and then we'll come back to introductions and welcomes and hellos and who's
Yeah.
who in a moment. Rogdan, over to you.
Uh, Good evening, everyone. We are grateful to host you here today on our first webinar this year on this Career Paths webinar series. And today's webinar will be about job opportunities in future flight sector. If you could please to the next slide, jump in. Yeah. It will be hopefully very interactive session. And if you just could please type where you joined for us, from where you joined us today. And we should have quite broad network and community. So if you could just please take a second and drop. So I see London, Lincolnshire. Great, great. Wycombe, Birmingham. Great. So Manchester, we have a quite broad from different areas. Durham, again, London. Yeah, fantastic. London. Cool. And yes, we would like to also to cover our agenda for today. So firstly, as we get through the welcome and introduction will be, we will also explore the future flight career landscape, where the opportunities exist currently and nowadays trending opportunities. After that, we will jump into the founder story of Mariya, founder of the Flight Crowd, and she will introduce and tell more about her story. After that, we will begin our panel discussion, which is the main part of our webinar today, and we end up with Q&A. At this point, I would like to pass to the founder of Flight Crowds, to Mariya.
Brilliant. Thank you, Roxanne. Hello, hi, everybody. I mean, I know I just said hello. I'm just super excited to see you all here. And welcome and hello to everybody who's watching our recording. I am Mariya Tarabanovska. I'm the founder of Flight Crowd, as Roxanne's mentioned. Please feel free to, if anything that I mentioned resonates with you, please feel free to get in touch. I really, really hope that myself and the team at Flight Crowd are always here during our sessions, during our events, but also anytime afterwards to answer any questions. But why should you get in touch? Let's talk about it in a moment. So we say Future Flight, and you all have joined a webinar series titled Future Flight Career Pathways. But what do we actually mean when we say Future Flight? So let's start with the basics. Air mobility, future flight, urban air mobility, advanced air mobility, there are so many different names for the same sector. But we at Flight Crowd, we define future flight as the new concept of transportation, transporting people, transporting goods, such as your parcels, such as blood transportation. It could be things like medical delivery, medical supplies, and hopefully organ transportation in the near future, but also, of course, transporting people using new types of aerial aircraft, such as your drones, or a better term would be UAVs, unmanned aircraft vehicles, or electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, eVTOLs. And if that's too many acronyms for you and too many technical terms, don't you worry, you can just call them air taxis for now, for simplicity. And so this is the sector that we're focusing on. It's really the industry that's focusing on making sure that the air travel is more sustainable, accessible, and integrated into daily lives. And if you're like, Mariya, this is great, thank you, but aircraft doesn't interest me, don't you worry, because it's not all about the planes. Really, the future flight sector has so many different kind of sides to this to the industry. Yes, the technology is very much at the core of it. So I've mentioned the eVTOLs, I mentioned the UAVs, and the hybrid aircraft and sustainable aviation fuels kind of also go into future flight. Depends again how you look at it. And it's all about the innovative types of designs and the aircraft that really look like probably nothing that you have ever seen before. But use of AI and autonomy and other advanced technology on board of the aircraft and on the ground are certainly some of the key elements of the future flight sector. But what really interests me and what really excites me, and hopefully excites you guys as well, is the fact that actually it's not just about the aircraft, it's the whole ecosystem that is being created today, being created all around the world. And it's the ecosystem that really touches everything from the way we move in the air, so air traffic management, the new types of air infrastructure, digital systems, regulations, radars and sensors, and much, much more. We're really talking about the wide range of applications as well, which is very exciting. It's as I mentioned, medical aid delivery, it's green logistics, it's surveying, it's looking at animal patterns in and looking at how the animals move in wild environments. More on that later. We have some speakers coming up in a few webinars to tell you about that. There's so many ways in which we can use the UAV and eVTOL technology. And really, the way I see it and the team, we're focusing on the amount of the potential that this industry has to offer in terms of communities around the world, connecting communities that are very remote, that haven't seen this range of connectivity solutions, and really just so many different benefits. So that's what we mean when we say future flight. What does it mean in terms of careers? Well, hopefully, as I'm bombarding you with loads of technical terms and loads of things that this industry is focusing on, you also see that actually it touches many different areas. It comes from land, air, sea. We'll come back to the rest. Let's start with air. Future flight, air. What do careers look like? What are some of the key areas that relate to the air element of future flight? So, of course, there's air traffic management. Again, I mentioned this is one of the key sectors. We, at the moment, relying quite heavily on humans being very much overseeing the aircraft operations. As we're going to start seeing many drones operating in the air, we're going to need to move towards unmanned traffic management solutions, or UTM, and absolutely the need to introduce further autonomy so that these new types of aircraft and the volume of the aircraft that we're going to be seeing is handled in a safe and secure manner, and a timely manner, of course. And for that, we will absolutely need to have computers and autonomous systems and humans working side by side. There's the aircraft design. Again, this is me. So I'm an aerospace engineer. We'll come back to my journey, but I'm an aerospace engineer. This is why I got excited about this sector. There's so many incredible solutions, and really the aircraft design side of things is, there's loads of fixed wing solutions, multi-rotor solutions, there's helicopters, there's drones on steroids, there's all sorts. But really there's so much in terms of the interior design, exterior design. It's super exciting. The engineering element of it as well. Autonomy, mentioned that, drone delivery, maintenance and operations. Of course, somebody will need to be maintaining and operating all these incredible aircraft that we are going to be seeing. So populating our skies. Communications as well. How do we ensure connectivity? It could be satellite connectivity, it could be communications between different aircraft. That's something for us to consider. Radars, airline and airport operations. We'll need to think about completely new ways of operating these aircraft and ensuring we deliver the service very much centered around the community need. Aerial racing, we're not going to talk about it today too much, but there is incredible companies focusing on how to use this technology for aerial racing, piloting those loads, and that's just air. So moving on to future flight land. So I talked to you about things that fly and things that relate to things that fly, but also things that fly also need to land. And for that, they will need absolutely different ways of us transporting people in general on the ground as well. So when we talk about air mobility, there's a need to integrate it with the existing infrastructure, with the existing transportation that we have. And it could be around the redesigning the types of airports that we have, or redesigning types of stations. So some of the visuals that you can see here, especially the left-hand side, these are some of the visuals that were produced for London, and visualizing Vertiport, which is the airport for the future flight aircraft. So the Vertiport's visions and how we can potentially do something like this in London and utilize the river. mechanical engineering, communications, traffic management, again, both on in the air, but also what happens when the vehicle lands. How do we get people or parcels or whatever it needs to be? How do we get it to the right, to the right users, to the right places? Everything needs to work seamlessly. Sustainable transportation. If this industry is really to be a sustainable aviation industry, then we really need to make sure that it's sustainable, not just in the air, not just because we're using sustainable either sustainable aviation fuels or electric batteries, and essentially not using any of the fuels, so that not producing any harmful chemicals, etc., any pollutants. But we are very much thinking about sustainability in the whole supply chain and the whole logistics, and we're very much making sure that this is a net zero sector altogether from cradle to grave. And that's the land. And the other element that a lot of people don't really think about is the sea and the range of career opportunities and the range of applications that relate to sea. I know it says flight, but as you can see, no pun intended, there's quite a few different aircraft, and there's literally, maritime drones that are being used at the moment to look at the wrecks of some of the ships, that are looking at marine wildlife conservations, that are looking at tourism, that are looking at very much making sure that some of the wind turbines in the sea are being serviced. There are so many applications, search and rescue as well. There's some incredible use cases that we have seen where literally people have been saved in Spain because the drone flew there and dropped a rescue jacket, because the humans wouldn't have been able to get there in time, but we were able to save that person's life because the drone was able to get there in time. There's so much stuff that we can do: ocean cleanup, search and rescue, again, oil spills, and responding to those environmental hazards, and AI-powered drones. There's loads, but I really hope that this is the exciting element, because I'm not sure if you guys knew about it. Let me take a bit of a step back and tell you a bit about myself, especially I'm seeing so many new faces. Welcome, guys, and thank you so much for joining us. So who am I? Why am I talking to you about drones? What am I doing right now? What is my journey? So I mentioned I'm a founder of Flightcrowd. I'm an aerospace engineer. I'm also a product designer by background, but I do a lot of future flight advisory. I do a lot of advocating for equity, diversity, and inclusion, making sure that our sector, future flight sector, is created to be for everybody and by everybody. And essentially, I spend a lot of time flying drones, or time with other people who are flying drones, and interacting with loads of individuals who are currently in schools, universities, and postgraduates, and helping them, maybe some of you are here in the audience, find your next career steps. Because for me, this industry, as much as it is focused on the technology, as much as it has all the potential I've talked to you about, this industry will not materialize to its full potential unless we ensure that there's enough talent, there's enough people who are passionate about the future and who are passionate to make a true impact, and passionate to get involved. And so I'm here to share some of my passion, and make sure that we support you in your journey, wherever you are in the world, wherever you are in your career journey, and support you with that tailored advice and mentoring. And so I do a lot of cool stuff, but my journey, and probably, in fact, can I just ask you guys to maybe put in the chat, where are you in your career journey? Are you currently in school? Are you university? Are you undergraduate, postgraduate, working professional? Please let me know in the chat. That would really, really help, actually. But what I wanted to say is where my journey started, and probably let's go not too far. Let's go to A levels. So I did a couple of A levels, a combination of maths and sciences and arts, as you can see. And that's because I was really, really interested in both, in the arts and design, but also the engineering and science elements. So I've done maths, physics, art, further maths, and art history. And that's something that my teachers really didn't like. But I did, because I was really excited to see how I can combine the two. And that led me to do foundation product design. And then I've done my bachelor's and master's with placement in aerospace engineering. And what I didn't tell you about is, alongside that, that time, I spent a lot of many hours, weeks and months, and at different organizations that were kind enough to give me opportunities to explore the world of automotive engineering, aerospace engineering, I even went to civil engineering company and quickly realized it was not for me. But I feel like in some ways, I was definitely blessed that there were loads of people who opened the door for me. But in other ways, there were definitely many times that the door didn't open. And it was a struggle, even when I was at university, to get the experiences, to get the exposure, and to actually get some of that exposure to the sector under my belt. And so, long and behold, that's how Flightcard was born in 2020. So we're 5 years old. We're an education not-for-profit, and we are here to help young people very much, yeah, figure out what is their journey into this sector. What is your journey into STEM, into the world of work? And if you are a returner, if you are changing your career, how can you go from where you are to where you want to be? Because some of us will have these opportunities, some of us will have none of these opportunities, but it shouldn't matter. What should really matter, in my opinion, is what you want to get to, and probably how hard are you keen to work, how many hours are you going to put into this? Because at least from personal experience, it is definitely a bit about luck, but more than anything, it's about hard work. And so if you're able and if you're interested in putting some hard work in, we'll certainly make sure that we help you to get to where you want to be. Thank you for sharing where you guys are in your career journey. I can see you've got some college sixth form A-levels currently in year 13, sixth form last year of high school in Scotland, so completing more hires, postgraduate airport operations, full-time employment for many years. Thank you, Mike. That's from one of our speakers, PhD student and postgrad. So we've got a great mixture here. Thank you. So you know what? I mean, I kind of told you a bit about my journey, and this is all wonderful and great. But what is your next career step? So you told me where you are now, but what do you know what you guys want to do in the future? If you're already working, if you're already studying, have you found that you are potentially considering of changing? Have you got like a solid path? Are you certain? Are you uncertain? Tell me, tell me, tell me. I'm very keen to learn more, because we will actually use it's all wonderful and great for you to be listening to me talk, but I'm going to be very shortly introducing you to our speakers, and everything that you guys will share here will be very useful for our discussion, because I want to make sure that it is useful for you based on your next career steps, based on your interests. So please do share, and any type of support that you guys require at the moment, that would be wonderful as well. Um, in the meantime, I will give you all a moment, because probably some of you are like, oh, I mean, there's a lot to say. Please do share. But in the meantime, whilst you guys are typing, it is my great pleasure to also be joined here by a number of our wonderful colleagues and friends who are here to talk to you about their career pathways and help you find the journey that will be tailored to you, share some of their experiences, share how they found their career journey. And yeah, it is a nice and supportive environment. So I am excited to welcome our career panel. So today I'm joined by three speakers. Hopefully you can see all of us spotlighted. So we've got Angel, Mike, and Lamyea, and I'll quickly share some of their bios. So Angel is our flight crowd training lead. She's also an MSc Aerospace Sustainability student with a background in aerospace engineering and experience across research, outreach, and industry-focused education initiatives. She's contributed to aviation research projects, mentored students through future flight and STEAM programs, and support engagement activities that connect young people with real-world aviation. Her interests lie in sustainability, future flight, and helping students and early careers professionals navigate pathways into the evolving aviation sector. So welcome, Angel. Wonderful to have you with us. So hopefully that kind of puts it into perspective, guys, for you in terms of Angel's background, and especially, again, that focus on sustainability. Any thoughts, any questions around sustainability, you know who to ask. We are now also joined by Mike. And Mike has flown a drone in 2014, and since then, he's worked for several organizations flying a variety of drones across the UK, Norway, and Saudi Arabia. The type of operations he's been involved in focus on close visual inspections of structures such as bridges, building facades, roofs, and power distribution infrastructure. As UK drone legislation has evolved, he's taken more of an interest in legislative side of operations. Oh, Mike, I don't envy you there. He has written multiple standard permission applications as well as many operating safety cases. Currently, he oversees regulatory compliance and drone safety for Texo Group. Thank you, Mike, and welcome, welcome. Wonderful, great, very, very different background, and hopefully, again, great background and great experience. Excited to have you here. And last but not least, we've got Lamyea. Lamyea is a PhD researcher at the University of Birmingham studying how people will experience the future of flight with a focus on advanced air mobility and emerging aviation technologies. She holds a first-class degree in aerospace engineering and has a strong interest in how innovation in aviation can be designed around real human needs. Alongside her research, she is actively involved in outreach and widening participation as an ED&I officer at FlightCrowd, working to make careers in aviation and engineering more accessible and inclusive. Her work sits at the intersection of technology and people to help shape a future aviation sector where more young people can see a place for themselves. Thank you, Lamyea. Wonderful to have you on board as well. Guys, this is brilliant, and I am truly, truly privileged to have you here. And I love how different your stories are, but how all of you are here because we know all of you have spent a significant portion of your time supporting other young people finding their feet and truly getting into the sector that we all so deeply love. So I'm grateful for your time here. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to ask you one question, though. I'm going to ask you the first question. Probably we can start with all of you, in fact, sharing a bit about a bit of your own story. Was your move into future flight something that was planned, or did it develop gradually over time? How did you get into the sector? What started it, or who started it? What's your story? Angel, maybe starting with yourself?
Yes, hello everyone. Lovely to meet you all. I can see everybody's chat. I can see Ifra. Hi, Ifra. I've seen some familiar faces as well. But yes, great to see you all. My interest into future flight, it was a gradual interest. It wasn't like I wanted to be in future flight when I was younger. I didn't have that, but I did have an interest in aerospace. So I started my undergrad in 2020. I did my undergrad in Kingston University, and then did a bit of research, started volunteering for FlightCrowd, and I had a 2-year gap after my undergraduate. So that's when I started exploring being more active in the industry. And going to conferences, volunteering, especially for FlightCrowd, and actually working as well. That's when I actually got to know that there is this field that I can like look into and explore. So I thought, okay, yeah, I'm gonna just start volunteering, helping students, mentor, and then I got an opportunity to continue my studies and just focus more into sustainability in aviation. So I selected that path, and now I'm currently doing my master's in advanced aerospace engineering with sustainable technologies in City University with a scholarship. But yes, yeah, that's my.
Love it, love it. Thank you so much, Angel, and love the exploration stage of it. And maybe not everything was written in the stars, and not everything was there from day one. But I love how you figured it out, and love how you followed your passion, and you're still exploring the topic. Thank you for sharing your story, Mike. Over to you. What's your story? Tell us.
Thank you. Nice to meet everybody. Good to see so many people here. My story is completely different from everybody else's. I spent over 20 years in the insurance industry, and then around about 2013, I was made redundant. And in looking around for another job, a friend of mine suggested I come and work for him, writing operating manuals for well engineers for the oil and gas industry in the North Sea. Now, what I knew about drilling, you could write on the back of the postage stamp, but he said, no, it'll be fine. You'll learn it as you go. Part of that process in his mind was to film hydrocarbon deposits down on the Jurassic coast of England, down the south coast, so that that information could be used for well engineers to see how hydrocarbons are formed. So started flying drones, got qualified, and then shortly afterwards made redundant again. Another 2-year wait for another job to come to fruition, and that's when I really sort of got into the industry. Straight off to Norway doing power line inspections. And then since 2017, that's evolved through a number of different companies, from power line inspections through to close visual inspections. The company before Texo, it was all close visual inspection in built up areas, high streets in towns and cities across the UK. And then I joined Texo to fulfill their sort of regulatory compliance role after fortunately turning a job down with the CAA, which I think I dodged a bullet there. And since then, I've written up all of the standard and complicated permissions that Texo have for both mapping, surveying, offshore, and I'm currently involved in writing up our first SORA application, Standard Operating Risk Assessment. So that's ongoing at the moment. So yeah, not a straight path, quite a complicated path, and definitely one that was accidental.
But it was definitely full of happy accidents, and it's brilliant. And Mike, I think it definitely shows that the ability and the need to make the most out of even the most unfortunate circumstances when you've been made redundant and when something changes and things don't go to plan, but also the need to be flexible and a lifelong learner probably and open to new opportunities and yeah, just exploring whatever's new and exciting. That's certainly how I got into the sector as well. It's like, oh, what's this? Let's learn more about it. Brilliant. Thank you, Mike. Wonderful. Lamyea, over to yourself.
Yes, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me here. It's lovely to hear, first and foremost, from Angel and Michael, and just have everybody here interested in aerospace. So I wanted to be a pop star because I watched a lot of Hannah Montana. Um, but then I was watching a lot of dolphin videos, so I wanted to be a dolphin trainer, and then I wanted to be a teacher. And this is just me trying to say that I didn't start off thinking about the aerospace industry. It's my dad that kind of introduced me to it. I wanted to be a pilot. And this was when I was really young. I was in primary, and I don't know why I was such a busybody. I was Googling how to be a pilot, and I read somewhere that you need to have 20/20 vision. And even in primary school, my eyesight was really bad. I was discouraged. But then I also realized if I can't be a pilot, I can just make the aircraft instead. So that's how I wanted to become an aerospace engineer. That's kind of like my motivation to be an aerospace engineer. And it's not like I wasn't open to other industries. I was always looking out. But since primary school, my goal has always been an aerospace engineer. And that's how I applied to university. And I got into the University of Birmingham. But throughout that kind of little journey up until university, I discovered that aerospace engineering is very diverse. There's aviation, but there's also space. And I love the idea of spacecrafts. So I wanted to work on rockets and satellites and all of that. And university allowed me to kind of experience the different aspects of aerospace. So I looked at planes, and I also worked on spacecraft designing. And one of my projects was on creating a information system for electric air racing pilots. And that's when I discovered human factors. And when I say I fell in love, I couldn't stop like reading up on every single thing about designing a head-up display, or like how electric aircrafts work, or like what do air racing pilots need. I discovered a kind of human side to something that's very technical, and I loved it. And so when I was graduating, I got approached by one of my lecturers saying that he's going to have a PhD open for human factors in aerospace, more specifically for the passenger experience of advanced air mobility, so air taxis, and eVTOLs. And I just went for it. I didn't really go into industry. I just went straight into academia, into my PhD, because I love the diversity of my topic, but also because there the work that I'm doing is something that will really impact a lot of people, and I hope that it will impact them in a good way. So that's my kind of PhD, a little bit about it and how I came to uh do this research.
Ah, brilliant. Thank you so much, Lamyea. When we're talking about the electric air pilots, I've got a company in mind. We need to take it offline. We need to talk about it more. I've definitely, after this call, guys, I'm going to be setting up another call. You realize that because everything, my brain is going 300 miles an hour. This is exciting. Thank you so much, all of you. This is super great. And I can hear, and hopefully all of our attendees here as well appreciate the diversity of the journeys that we're here covering. And this is exciting, and we talk about kind of maybe more academic experiences, but also experiences in the actual roles, I suppose, and kind of pivoting around those. What I want to talk a bit more about are the skills, because I think even during the application process, everybody focuses on, right, have you got relevant experience? I am very much a great believer in using some of the skills and learning lessons from whatever it is that you do. You don't necessarily have to have every single experience right and already under your belt. In fact, you can't get experience without experience. The great mystery that I don't think many people have cracked in this sector, when they expect for a young early careers individuals to kind of be already experienced, but they still haven't had the chance. Anyways, I can go on and on about it. What I'm really excited to kind of discuss with you guys is the skills landscape. And I just wanted to very quickly introduce you to this visual that I have found recently on World Economic Forum. So this is the Future of Jobs report, core skills in 2025. So the World Economic Forum, they do this report every couple of years, and for this time around, they have surveyed more than 1,000 largest employers around the world, representing 22 industries, with over 14 million individuals working for them. And what I think is interesting here, and yes, future flight and aviation, aerospace were part of it, engineering, STEM, of course, were part of this survey as well, but I appreciate that it doesn't just cover our industry. But what I really like about this is these are top 10. And the first few are focusing on analytical thinking, resilience, flexibility, agility, leadership. I think that's a soft skill. Social influence, that's something you don't necessarily learn at university. Creative thinking, oh, I love that. How do you even develop it? Motivation, self-awareness, I mean, you can look at it. Empathy, I like that empathy is there as a skill that the employers are looking for. Talent management, service orientation, customer service, focusing on your target audience. So I suppose my question is, what are the skills that you have, what part of your background, skills or experience, but especially your skills, if we can think about it, have really helped to get you to where you are right now? What is it that one or couple of things, or what are some of the skills again that you think really helped you on your journey so far? Mike, maybe I'll start with you this time. I can see
Okay.
you thinking.
I think, I mean, for me, number two stands out, resilience, flexibility, and agility. That ability to be able to pivot from one industry into something completely new was vital for me. Without that, I wouldn't be where I am today. From that, especially the role that I have with TEXO, part of the job remit was to get involved in social influence. So I sit in a number of, or with a number of organizations out with my day-to-day job, I'm on the advisory board for RPAS UK. I'm involved with Commit to Drones as well. So basically expanding my footprint, for want of a better word, within the industry. And one of the things that I've said to my mentor group in Flight Crowd is the importance of, and I appreciate it's difficult, especially the younger you are, to jump onto LinkedIn and to start building your social footprint within that platform. It's completely different to Facebook and all the other nonsense that fills our day. It's completely different. It is changing. I've seen it change over the last 10 to 15 years, but for the most part, I think it's a valuable tool as you expand your reach, grow your network, and learn about what's out there. It's a fantastic resource for learning about other companies and what is happening throughout the industry. So that's certainly, I think, a key piece of advice I would give to everybody, especially the younger you are. Start that at a young age and build it up.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we're getting into the advice territory. Don't get too excited, Mike. We're going to come back to you. Well, but this is brilliant. Thank you. And I love, I've made a note of it, building your social footprint. I love that. Angel, Lamyea, any thoughts from you ladies? What are some of the core skills you think or experiences that really helped you to get to where you are, especially as focus on skills?
Skills. Yes, I completely agree with Mike. Mainly soft skills that you have, of being open and adaptable, of being ready to learn about new things is very important. That's how I got into this industry, and just being interested in what it is and to learn more about it, even if you're not ready, just start. I would say that's what I did, and I also love the motivation and self-awareness that comes with you doing things, or you start doing and exploring and learning, which is what I did. And LinkedIn as well. What I am doing now is I just replaced all my social media. I mean, like deleted everything, and I only have LinkedIn on my phone. So if I want to scroll, I have to go through LinkedIn. So yeah, just still learning, but getting skills on the go, but just being open and adaptable would be the main one.
I love it. I'm in the same boat with LinkedIn, but I think LinkedIn has also cracked the game because they also have the the videos and the feed and everything, and it's as addictive. But I love it, and thank you. I've written down motivation, self-awareness. You need to start doing, and you learn by doing. I love that. That's great. I also love the lifelong learning on there and curiosity, and I think we should absolutely embrace, and all of you, again, I think you're brilliant examples of the fact that you don't stop learning. It doesn't matter in what setting, whether academic setting or work setting. It's a habit. It's a brilliant skill, and it's a brilliant characteristic, I suppose. And I think everybody should definitely try and look out for more opportunities to learn formally or informally from each other, from books, from anything. I think that's wonderful. Lamyea, any thoughts from you?
I agree with a lot of what Angel and Mike said. For me, the biggest one is learning to advocate for myself, learning to communicate and stand up for myself, and just being open to rejection, learning from rejection and feedback, and putting myself out there, even in an environment that I'm unfamiliar with. I think Angel touched on it as well, in this sense. But if I'm gonna give anybody advice, it's just take any opportunity that comes to you, even if it's small or it's not something you're familiar with. You'll find that if you can grow your soft skills are universal. You can take you to any industry and you can make you successful. So soft skills, take any opportunities that come to you and be open-minded and learn to be able to kind of advocate and communicate for yourself. Those are the key skills that kind of carried me to where I am.
No, absolutely, and thank you for this, Lamyea. And just for everybody, so soft skills. When we say soft skills, we really mean things like collaboration, teamwork, presentation. Most of the things you can see here are soft skills. Hard skills or computer skills are things that you relate normally to technology. So it could be spreadsheets, it could be kind of programming, etc., etc. So I suppose things like technological literacy, that's more related to technical skill. But I agree with you, the soft skills absolutely so crucial, because and we don't necessarily highlight those as much, and how they transfer between different sectors and between different experiences, and how important it is to say, yes, I may have been I don't know, for instance, I love gaming, but actually, and I know, Lamyea, I'm sure you've looked into that as well through your research, this is how some of the companies, especially around air racing world, so aerial racing, that's how they're training their future pilots, because they want somebody who's kind of very familiar with the gaming environment, familiar with AR, VR headsets, etc. So again, how can you use some of your skills and translate it into a future career? That's something I'm very passionate about, which actually brings me on to something that I really wanted to share with you guys. Is this little flight guard spider. Some of you may have seen it if you've been to enough of our programs, so you're probably very familiar with this. I'm a deep believer that your academic and extracurricular interests and passions and everything you do in life, outside of the classroom and in the classroom, it can be combined and lead to a career, an exciting career. And it is for you to shape that career, and it is for you to tell that story. And I'm a great believer in telling stories and making it all, again, combining things like I love well, let's stick to computing, let's stick to programming, and let's stick to gaming. If you like that, then if you look at that the circle at the bottom, IT and computing, those skills and that passion, that interest can lead you to job roles related to autonomy, radars and sensors, 5G and Internet of Things, because all of these aircraft that we're talking about, they will need to be connected to each other. They will need to make sure that they don't bump into one another, that they're sensing the environment, that they can maneuver in case of emergency, etc. There is a lot of that, the skills that you develop and the attention that you kind of, being focusing on something when you're problem solving, if you're debugging, for instance, when you're programming, or if it is gaming, those sort of things that you pick up, those are the skills that you pick up, attention to detail. This is something that, and these are the careers that you can have in the IT and computing, if that is something you're interested in. Similarly, art and design, again, that's something that I have explored because that is my passion. I looked at city planning and architecture, and graphic design and kind of interior design, because let's be honest, in the 21st century, we have so many products and so many technologies that really quite a few of us only care about the technological side of things, but many more probably also want to make sure that this piece of technology or whatever it is that you are, that you're using, that you are seeing, is also aesthetically appealing, is also functional, but is also maybe user friendly. So there are elements around human-centered design and making sure that we design accessible solutions, etc., that very much relate to people who have an interest and passion and background in things like art and design, photography as well. So thinking about some of those skills and some of the hobbies that you may have, and maybe extracurricular activities that you do, those are some of the careers that you can have. Business studies, again, if this is something that you're studying at school, then you can go into advertising, marketing, project management. I've seen, I was going to say that I feel like somebody has written their A-levels. Oh no, nobody has. I was gonna pick on somebody who told me what they're doing at the moment, but no, none of you guys have. But yes, if you give me an example, I love doing this little exercise. Like tell me what you're studying, and I'll tell you what you can do with this. Or tell me what kind of extracurricular activities you have, and I'll tell you what you can do with it. Because again, it's economics. Super easy. Again, business studies, business models for new types of airlines. At the moment, yeah, we've got the technology, fantastic. How are we going to be introducing this? How are we going to be making sure that this technology, especially the air taxis, are affordable for people? They won't be affordable to begin with, but we need to make sure that that they will eventually become something that most of us will be able to afford. Geography, well, that's about route planning. I'm on it, right? I won't be able to do all of these, but I'll do a few. geography, Lamia. So geography, I think that's definitely about route planning and making sure that we create nodes. Because at the moment, it's fantastic to have great. We're going to build one stop for one vertiport, for example, for the drones and air taxis. Great, but are they just going to circle around and then land? Fine, that may be good for tours. But what if you actually need to start making a network, similar to how we have networks of railway network and normal other aviation network? We need to create networks. And for that, you need to understand the geography. You need to understand different demographics in those regions. You need to understand the different regional kind of limitations and again some of the differences, etc. Yes, criminology. Oh, that's an interesting one. I'm going to come back to that. Hopefully, this is about kind of regulations and things that we don't, making sure they're safe. But yes, hopefully you guys get the gist. Happy to stay offline and afterwards talk about it. Languages, again, French, I can see there. Chemistry is all about sustainability element and environmental concerns and making sure that this industry is fully sustainable. Again, I can go on and on, but really, I hope we're able to cover the whole breadth of different careers, and trust me, there are so many. But I will never ever encourage you to give up on your passions and your interests, and in fact find a way to combine your passions and your extracurricular and your hobbies and your academic background and shape a career for you. Because at the moment we don't have the degrees in university that prepare you perfectly for the career opportunities that will exist in the next couple of years in future flight. So you can take some courses, but a lot of it will be, how is it you as an individual with your skills, with your experiences, how can you kind of combine all of this in a wonderful mixture and then apply it to the real problems that we have. Anyways, I'm taking over. As you can see, I love this topic, careers, mentoring, all of that, love it. But my question to our speakers here is: are there any skills and experiences that you think students often underestimate, but which are actually very valuable in this sector? It could be anything. It could be volunteering, whatever it is, networking. Talk to me, guys. And again, opening it to everyone. Lamia?
I'll go first.
Oh, Mike, go for it.
I think for me, one of the key things that, and again, I go back to the mentor group. I've explained to them that a key thing when you're of a young age is overcoming that huge hurdle that is confidence, and having that ability to, as was mentioned earlier, promote yourself and not feel that everybody in a room is sitting there laughing at you on the inside or what have you. And I think that stems from your time at school. You were asked at school to stand up and read a passage from Shakespeare, and if you tripped over your words or you couldn't pronounce something properly, everybody fell about the room laughing. Well, that doesn't happen when you're an adult, but I think it's still in the back of everybody's minds. And I think you have to force yourself somewhat to overcome that. I mean, I was probably well into my 30s before I perhaps even older, before I started feeling confident speaking in front of a room full of people. And I'm certainly, no great orator, that's for sure. But I'm happy enough to do it. Part of me enjoys it. Part of me wants to keep pushing myself in these areas where there's a little bit of awkwardness. So I think certainly at school age, early university, getting involved in activities and opportunities where you do have to put yourself out there and throw yourself into the spotlight. The earlier you overcome this huge hurdle, I think the better the advantage you will have in your career going forward. Because when you're presented with these challenges, your second job after university, somebody says, right, well, you're going to go and stand up in front of a room full of people and speak. If you can go and nail that, then the perception of you as a competent employee is going to be higher. So the sooner you do that, the better. That for me is one of the key things.
Brilliant. No, thank you. I love it. Again, so many words of wisdom. Lamia, Angel, any thoughts from you ladies?
Again, I absolutely agree with everything that Michael said. one thing that I would say is having a hobby that is outside of the kind of main focus of your work is fantastic. So I'm going to use Maria's example, gaming. I love playing video games. I play a lot of Apex Legends, Valorant. And when I was doing my undergraduate degree in aerospace engineering, when I was creating that head-up display of the information system for electric racing pilots, I went back into my gaming knowledge, and I tried to think about some of the UI that I used when I was playing some games and which UI was effective for me and how I could translate that into creating that kind of product for racing pilots. Another thing is I love reading books. I love reading web novels. I love watching YouTube. And I found that when I was doing my degree, the kind of like reading books helped me kind of articulate my ideas. Watching YouTube videos helped me find areas of interest that I could kind of link back to, help me with my creative thinking. And another sector that I'm really invested in is kind of STEAM, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. I think a lot of people try and separate the technical side from the artsy side, and it really shouldn't be separate. If you don't, if you're not able to communicate, if you're not able to design the information successfully, then even if you do create new technology or you help somebody, if the way you don't portray yourself or relay the information in a way that's digestible to your audience, they don't care what you do or they don't care about the work you do. And that's not what you want. You want people to be invested in the work that you do. You want them to understand the importance of the work you do. And so going back to kind of like having hobbies outside of your main area of work is great in order for you to expand and target different audiences so then they're invested and they can understand the importance. Anything else that I can think about? Network, get to know a lot of people. I remember because I'm an EDI officer, so I try and find a lot of people that I just want to highlight their stories, their background, their journey, and just being able to network and finding people is what's the word? It's it makes me excited and it makes me happy, you know. Being able to just talk to other people and learn how they're so like they're different but same to me. So yeah, network, get a lot of people interested in the work that you do and have hobbies that's not related to the main topic of work that you do.
Ah, Lamia, that was a brilliant response. And as a fellow art and design person, totally agree with the STEAM, STEAM and D as well. They want the D for design. That's something else they're looking to include. And human-centered design, I completely understand. And it's you can I often say you can make many things fly, but it doesn't mean you should. So before you innovate something, before you create something that potentially already exists or shouldn't exist, think who's the end user? What problem are you solving? Is there really a problem? And how are you helping people? And how are you trying to include others into your solution? Oh, I love it. Oh, guys, this is so great. So it's our first webinar, and I'm already loving it. Angel, I'm going to come to you, start with yourself, and ask a slightly different question before we wrap up. Top resources you'd recommend for young people, and anything else you want to share before we wrap up for today. Any of the resources, any advice, any do this before the end of the day, before the end of the week. This is your actions plan. Top resources. Anything else from you?
Top resources. I would say just you're already doing it. You're already attending the sessions. Just start doing what you're interested in. Start learning. Be active in the industry. If you haven't created a LinkedIn account, or if you need any help with it, just let us know. We can help you with it. If you have any questions, just let us know. And ask questions. Ask for help if you're struggling in anything, in any part of your studies, or your career options. There's a lot of people who are willing to help, and because maybe when I was starting, I didn't get this sort of help or guidance. and now we are ready to give it back to you and help you out. So I would say just put yourself out there and I would say get out of your comfort zone. Even if you're in your comfort zone, just say, hey, I'm a little shy, but I want to learn this and I'm ready to do it. Just be open and just communicate. And yes, yeah. If you have any questions or anything, just let us know. We're here to help.
Love it, love it. Thank you. Any final words, Mike, Lamyea? Any last words? Any top resources from you? Anything? Sign up to this person. Especially, I've seen a couple of our attendees are interested in piloting as well. I know, Mike, of course, you're a UAV pilot, but any resources, any suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, just a takeaway from me, I was at an RPAS event at the University of Cranfield. It's the second time I'd been there. Never been there until quite recently with my work with RPAS. And when I got home, I Googled all the courses that are available at Cranfield, and it blew my mind. I was gobsmacked at what you could go and study there. So I think, yes, just get onto the internet and put in the keywords to whatever it is that interests you, where you think your career is going, and learn and just soak up all of that knowledge. I think certainly, I mean, I was at university briefly and then left when I didn't pass my exams or was asked to leave, one of the two. And I think the key thing is listening to the people who are so heavily involved in academia. It doesn't stop after your master's or your PhD. Especially now, there is so much in terms of higher education beyond university. Never stop learning, basically.
Love it, love it. Thank you, Mike. Lamyea?
Really.
You've been showering us with wisdom. Anything else?
Oh,
Give us top resource. Give us somebody to follow. Give us a recommendation. Let's do that.
please look at the RAES website. They are fantastic. They are a fantastic society. They have a lot of opportunities. They highlight a lot of news. And get involved with any of their events that they do. That's how I found Mariya and Flight Crowd.
Ah, love it. Thank you. And in fact, I'm glad you mentioned it. So I've seen one of the questions was around biggest challenge and looking at opportunities and volunteer opportunities, but very limited in Scotland. So I know Dev Aviation, that's another one of our colleagues. They do development days. So big shout out to Dev and everybody who's already in the community. I know Dev is looking to be doing much more in both in Scotland, but also around the UK. Lamyea, absolutely agree. RAES, Royal Aeronautical Society, they are Flight Crowd's knowledge partner, a charity that we've been working with for a number of years. It started with me volunteering for them and still involved. We have a great relationship, and for any events and any opportunities that are coming up with them, we've got a range of discounts and free spaces available, etc. If you see something with Royal Aeronautical Society, come to us. We'll be able to get you involved. Absolutely agree with volunteering. I can see there was a few other suggestions. Thank you, Mike, for mentioning Cyberhawk if you're interested in drones. Love it. And then there was a few other questions, and I can see people are responding as well. So how can we build genuine relationships instead of just collecting contacts? If you can give some words of advice. And I can see Ashish, thank you, saying messaging connections after connecting and striking a conversation. That definitely is brilliant. But also, absolutely, if you connect with somebody in real life, making sure you follow up with them afterwards, or even if it is online, kind of making sure that relationship stays alive. I think that's probably something I would say. I am definitely, I'll put my hand up and say that I'm very excited to always meet new people, but it's just as, if not even more important, to make sure you maintain those warm relationships with people who already have been by your side, who are already championing you. So make sure you invest some time in staying in touch. And even if it is, scheduling every 4, 5, 6 months or so, a quick message, or, putting some time in the diary to say, send a message to X person, and then just messaging them saying, oh, are you free for a 5-minute catch up, just a virtual coffee or something, that really goes a long way. That's how people will remember you. They'll probably remember if you made a great impression in the first place when they met you. But how do you stay remembered? By showing up virtually and in person, connecting through LinkedIn, through further calls, etc., etc. And yes, I can see more would advise using LinkedIn post articles, creating some content, 100%. And what are some of the main challenges for an entrepreneur looking to enter future flight? Oh, Lucas, this can just be a Maria's webinar. We'll probably take this offline. And I was going to say, in fact, I'll share my email address once again, and I'll share another opportunity that I would love to highlight for anybody who wants to continue this conversation further and who wants to continue receiving some of the advice and opportunities. Here's my email address. Please, Lucas, let's get in touch. Let's talk about it and your pathway into entrepreneurial pathway into future flight, but also for anybody who's at the start of your career, who's looking to pivot or unsure and need some help. We've just opened another new program completely free, funded by the UK government, and is there to continue having these conversations. Open Skies Pathways, I've shared the link in the chat. Please take a look if you haven't already. This has been absolutely incredible, guys, and again, I really can't thank you enough for your time and all our speakers. It has been brilliant to hear from you, and I'm sorry, and I'm like, we should have had more time. We should have had more time. But I know I think Rogdan is going to probably start being angry at me because I'm overrunning. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to thank our speakers so much for all your time, for all your wonderful insights. Bogdan, over to you for closing remarks.
Yep, thank you very much, everybody, for joining us today. We hope you really had a great time with us. And also thank you for our speakers for sharing their opinions, experiences, and really valuable insights. I believe that was really inspirable and insightful for everyone. Yeah. If you could please, you can just review through our QR codes, whether you would like to become a member of our community. So this is the QR code on the right side, the QR code on the left side. You can join our WhatsApp community and see all the news, all the events and announcements. You can also become a volunteer with us, attend our events, whether it's virtual or offline events, and overall stay in touch with us.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your evening, the rest of your week, and yeah, hope to see you in the future at future flight card events. Thank you all. Thank you to our speakers. Thank you to all our attendees. Take care of yourself and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.